Hey family, today's session is called I Can't Keep This Going. I can't keep this going. And so today is January the 16th, 2020, and this is this 10% happier self-care journey. Brother Youssef, how's it going, my friend? Hope you are well. So I'm going to do something real quick. Thank you all for joining me. I'm going to paste the notes for this session in the chat so that you can follow along with me. And we're going to jump right into it. So I can't keep it going. It's this is from a course within the 10% happier meditation courses that I'm taking, and it's in a course called Meditation for Skeptics. And I love it because what it's doing is it's going through all of the questions or all of the excuses or concerns that many people would have if they're skeptical about meditation, or they're unsure, they don't have as much experience, etc., etc. So today's topic, I can't keep this going, is actually the last in the session. Hey Stan, thanks for hanging out. Hope you all are having a great day so far. Happy Thursday to you. And so this is the very last one, and they dealt with some other really good topics, like people might think I'm weird, meditation will make me lose my edge, like all kind of interesting takes on it. But this is the last one, and I like the way that they wrapped it up. So we're going to jump into it and talk for a few minutes. And first, we're going to actually do the very thing that's going to prove that you can always keep your meditation and mindfulness going, because all you need is intention and 30 seconds. So we're going to do something that I call a 30-second meditation technique. And all it is that we're going to take 3 deep breaths and spend 10 seconds of be mindful, or spend 10 seconds in mindfulness with just being like present in that moment, non-judgmental about anything we're feeling, anything we're going through, anything that's happened, anything that we're processing. Just staying in that space of stillness and quiet. So we're going to take 3 deep breaths in, inhale through the nose and exhale through the mouth, and we're going to make sure our breaths are as long as we can get them. So you can do this wherever you are. You don't have to be seated. You could be in your car driving. You could be standing in line at the bank right now. So here we go. So we're going to take 1 deep breath in and exhale out. A second deep breath in. Long exhale out. One final deep breath in. And exhale out. And we're going to spend 10 more seconds just in that place. You can continue to take deep breaths if you like, or you can just be still. And that's it. Congratulations if you've never done that before. You have successfully meditated. Hey Jan, how you doing today, my friend? Chanel Johnson, thanks for hanging out. The 30-second meditation technique is something that I am going to be branding, actually, and it's my way of, it's like an accessibility point. The thing with most practices it just needs to be accessible to as many people as possible, and in as many situations and scenarios as possible. So to me, 30 seconds is most important to focus on, because most people, when they think about meditation, they think about being seated, having the right candles and the right ambiance, maybe the right music. You're not meditating with the right music unless you have Aaron Hill's music, just putting that on, putting that out there. I'm just kidding. I'm not, though. But I am, though. I'm kidding. In a serious way. So, but most people think that you have to have like ideal conditions, or even that you have to have time. Like you have to have 30 minutes, 45 minutes, an hour, 20 minutes to like literally sit down, force your mind to be clear, hold your hands like this and sit in a lotus position. And the beautiful part about me, especially approaching this from a secular perspective. Happy New Year, Lenny. Thanks a lot, bro. I appreciate you, man. Thanks for joining me today, man. Wishing you the best this year, and as far as your self-care. The best thing about me as a secularist is that, the way that I stumbled across this course is that, many courses that I come across, they are highly religious in nature, which I don't knock. I think it's cool. It's just not necessarily for me, because when I'm relaxing in and settling in and really focusing on my breath and my body and stillness and mindfulness and, keeping the lack of, or having a lack of judgment, or keeping the judgment down, and a high level of compassion and those kind of things, I don't need to hear religious terms or way out there like, I just don't, it's just not for me. So I ran across 10% Happier because Dan Harris put together this course, and he also is a person that's, I would say, a secular humanist as well. So I enjoy this because it's kind of, everybody can use it, like no matter what your tastes are, because it is, secular in nature. So anyway, my point is that's how I got to the 30-second technique, because when you're just talking about breathing deeply in 10 seconds of removing your judgment from what you're experiencing or what's going on with you, or what's going on around you, this is something you can practice at any given time, any place, no excuses. So really, this lesson, I can't keep it going. Like we're knocking that off right off the top, just by talking about the most practical way to approach this, which is that you can do it at any given time. And it's best, I realize, not to wait until you're going through something to then take 3 deep breaths so you can de-escalate. It's like good to just when you think about it, just randomly, when you think about this message, like just take deep breaths. Yasay and Renee, thanks so much for hanging out. Just take 3 deep breaths and just be still for 10 seconds. What you're doing then is what I like to call preventative, meditation and mindfulness. You're actually living in that space. And the beautiful part for me is that though this part of my journey is like an expansion on a particular expression of meditation and mindfulness, this has literally been my life. This is what I've lived, for some years now. I would always get and I'm gonna get right back to the lesson. So sorry for being so long-winded, but I think it's relevant. I was always the person that people would commend for being patient or even tempered or even keel, and there's a lot of things that go into that for me as far as why I feel I'm that way. But the main thing I realized is that this mindfulness thing is how I've always really dealt with things, I've always been able to just be still, not be as judgmental, allow for compassion and empathy, and just be at a place of peace. The beautiful part I like now that I'm adding on to it is taking the deep breaths, because I wasn't taking deep breaths, and I didn't realize in the hustle and bustle of life that many times you wind up taking very, very short and shallow breaths and not realizing it. So that has been a good addition to my practice, focusing on the breathing, because when you do long inhales and long exhales, you are slowing your heart rate down. You're giving yourself something to focus on that is really the simplest aspect of your life force. And you're allowing for more oxygen in your body. Like, it's just, it brings a new light to the cliche, like, just take it easy, take a deep breath. It's a whole new light for me with that. So that's where I am with this. So there's no way that you can really hold up your consistency if you just think about it that way. All right, so let's get into the notes for the day. Progress versus perfection. And again, you can follow along with me in the notes in the chat. Progress versus perfection. It's normal to have times in your practice where you lack consistency. Don't judge yourself. And realize that using short times of deep breathing and mindfulness can happen anywhere and at any time. The goal is momentary intention, which leads to consistent progress, not the unrealistic idea of perfection. And I wrote that way because I think that perfection is completely a myth, and it's a figment of our imagination. It's a mental construct created by the ability for us to come up with mathematical hypotheticals in our brain that are real, that is a reality, even if those aren't things that are real in this reality or things that we can actually attest to. So I think that this momentary goal, the goal is momentary intention, right? Momentary, you're going to lose your focus. Momentary intention. Demetrius, thanks for hanging out. I got a cousin, man, by your exact name, bro. It's kind of wild. The goal is momentary intention, which leads to consistent progress, not the unrealistic idea of perfection. So if you take your whole life and you just think about your life as like a momentary practice of times when you're focused and times when you lose it, like, then you're reframing what meditation is. Oh, so all right, bro, I meant to say, that's funny, bro. I meant to say I have another friend, man, because I didn't recognize the picture. I meant to say I have another friend that's actually exactly your name too, but it's not you. But it's first and last name. It's kind of wild. I just didn't know who I was talking to because I couldn't see the picture. Thanks. What's up, Cyril? Happy 2020 to you, man. How is the music going, bro? Drop a line. Let me know. So that's the goal. Okay. Second note I have here that I wrote is set goals that are so realistic and easy that it's virtually impossible to be inconsistent. Then add other more involved and complex goals on top over time. This way, no matter what, you always achieve consistency. So here's the deal, right? This came about as I thought about something that I did in my life when it came to health and fitness and working out. So in my 20s, I used to work out 6 days a week. I was at a different place in my life. My business was at a different place. My level of responsibilities, just the amount of things that I was into was just a whole different level of things. So I was working out 6 days a week, had great consistency, and things were going well. I loved it. At some point, especially as my business started to grow, I looked at my time, and before I got to the point where I would need to make the adjustment, I actually made an adjustment. I went from 6 days a week, and that was like 2 hours or something like that. I went from that to 3 days a week for an hour. And what I wound up doing was taking that 6-day workout, incorporating as much as I could into the 3-day, not worrying about what I couldn't, because I just took like the main things that would keep me in shape and keep me focused. And I put it into 3 days for an hour. And the reason why I did that was because I realized that at some point, 6 days was going to be hard to keep up if I wanted to remain consistent, like no matter what. But 3 days for an hour, even if I didn't go to the gym and I was home, like I could keep that consistent and I would never miss a day. And it was like a little psychological trick I did, where I was like, I'll do this, and then I never have to suffer from lack of consistency, and I'm still getting all of the benefits. So I feel like that's what this is. That's why I start off with the 30-second thing, because if you set a goal for 30 seconds every time you think about it, then that's so realistic that you'll never have to say, I don't have time for this, I can't keep it going, I got too many things going on. You'll always be consistent. And then what you could do is, on top of those 30-second moments, you can add on to it, like, okay, when I wake up in the morning on Mondays, before I go to work, I'm gonna take 10 minutes to sit down to listen to Aaron's music, Key Reflections, everywhere. And I'm gonna do the same thing. I'm gonna breathe deeply, and I'm gonna be mindful, and but I'll be seated, and I'll be laying in the bed with my eyes closed, and I'll make like a whole thing of it for 10 minutes. You add those things on top of it, and then you keep going from there. You might have 30 minutes or hour, you just let it unfold that way. This way, when life happens, which it will happen, and you don't have your 30 minutes, you don't have your hour, you can't find my project any longer, on your device. On your device. I'm gonna keep messing with y'all with that. This way, you always have those intermittent short periods, so you actually are never off track. You actually are still doing it, and it's all just colliding, but you're focusing on the smallest goal, which keeps you consistent. And that does a number for your personality. That does a number for like your attitude about it, which means you wind up being more consistent. Like at this point, I'm to the point now, and you can see it, you can hear it in my voice, you can see it in day to day. I'm to the point now where if I don't do this, even like this live stream and my practice before this, like I just don't even feel it. I'm just like, man, there's nothing more important to me. There's literally no job, no phone conversation, nothing is more important to me than when I wake up or when I get the opportunity to do my stretches and do my meditation during my stretches. Like it's nothing more important, because it's changing everything else. So set goals that are so realistic that it's virtually impossible to be inconsistent. Okay, next note, take the time to do nothing. So with our day-to-day movement, this practice can actually feel more stressful. The whole concept of doing nothing can feel more stressful than other more obvious stressful activities, like doing everything. The goal is to practice this little by little to change our relationship with stillness over time. Sundiata, Dante Speaks. What's up, family? Thank y'all for hanging out. The goal with this whole do nothing, so when you sit down and just try to quiet your mind, or you sit down and just focus on your breathing, that's the better way to put it, and just kind of relax in that place, like you're gonna be, if you're like me, if you're a person that's always a go-getter, always trying to like maximize your time, the first thought that's gonna distract you is like, why the hell am I sitting here doing nothing? Like your mind's gonna be like, do you know how many things you have to do today? What the hell are you doing? Sitting here breathing and doing nothing. Like I don't give a damn if it's 5 minutes. You can take that 5 minutes and do that. That's what's gonna happen to you. That's what your mind is gonna say. It's normal. That's a positive thing when you need it to be. But that mindset also doesn't allow you to be still, at times. I found ways of being still, just like in driving and different things where I was still doing something else, but like I got something in my mouth. I'm using you guys as a mirror. I'm gonna start doing that to increase even more comfort with vulnerability. Like, do I have anything in my teeth? So, I do that like when I'm driving. I do that at the piano a lot of times. Like I have my place, but if you don't have that, you can always be on the go. So it's hard to just be still and do nothing. But what you want to do is just work with that. You want to allow yourself that time to just sit and do nothing. And it helps you to develop a better relationship with stillness, because you don't feel so antsy and anxious anymore. You're just like, okay, I'll get back to doing everything in 5 minutes, but right now, let me just be here in this space. Periodically, drop noting, and those that don't know what noting is, it's when you count your breaths, or when you say inhale or exhale in your mind. It's a way to keep yourself focused on your breath, or if you're focusing on your body or a sound. But periodically drop that all together. Drop noting and focus, and allow your mind to just wander. The simple practice of doing this intentionally initiates a reverse psychology, allowing you to focus better when needed. And it's funny because I just did it today, in this practice. The guy who was leading the practice. Hey, Jacqueline, thanks for hanging out. Happy Thursday to you. The guy who was leading the practice, he got to this point where he was like, okay, now, instead of focusing on the breath and doing noting and doing all those things, we're going to literally stop trying to focus altogether and just allow our minds to go everywhere. If it goes to the last conversation you had and how stupid it was, if it goes to judgment, if it goes to what you got to do today, if it goes to like, why am I doing, like whatever, wherever it goes, you just allow it to go there. You're practicing acceptance with this, which is the most important part, because whatever you resist persists, whatever you fight, it ignites. The goal is to allow these things and get to the point where you can have the chaos going on around you and in your mind, and you're still at this place of like peace, and you're able to settle in, and you don't need anything to change in order for you to be okay. Isn't this what we're all trying to do, like in our daily lives anyway? This is literally like what we're doing. And I love to hear your feedback on this. Drop a line or let me know if what I'm saying resonates with you. Isn't this what we're trying to do anyway? Like, no matter what your practice, no matter what your religion, no matter what your spiritual practice or lack thereof, like, no matter where you stand on the spectrum, everybody is trying to be at that place of peace where they can have the world just going crazy around them and it doesn't throw them off track, Doesn't matter what you call it. Nirvana, Christ consciousness, nothing, being at peace, whatever, right? So Jacqueline says, yes, peace. That's what I'm talking about, Jacqueline. That's where I am. Peace by any means necessary. Even if I gotta fight him. No, I'm just playing. Forrest, thanks for hanging out. So the goal is to get comfortable with doing nothing in this practice, because that's the hardest thing in the world for people who are constantly stressed out and overwhelmed. The hardest thing. You feel guilty by doing this practice. So the goal is to just allow yourself to feel guilty and just stay there. Just be like, yep, and okay, this is what we're doing. I don't know why we're doing it, but we're doing it. And then after a while, it'll just then you'll love it after a while, because you'll be like, wow, you'll be looking forward to it. Okay, last but not least. Oh, and one more thing I wanted to mention about that happened to me in my practice. As the person led me to that point of doing nothing, not even focusing, just allowing it to go. It's so wild, because as soon as I allowed my mind to go, it actually worked the reverse. And I think it's because of how long I've been doing the practice now. It worked the reverse, where I'm so used to paying attention to my thoughts that I allowed my thoughts to go. I started thinking about other things, and then naturally they just started fading, and I was back on my breath again, like without even trying, because I guess it felt better. Like I was allowing, so I didn't need to go and fight those thoughts. So it literally worked reverse psychology over me in the moments. Last but not least, and this is what I ended with yesterday, and in some shape and form, this is what I'll always end with this self-care journey, because I think is the most important part of the equation. So take this in with me as the end of our practice today. Learn to enjoy your own company and always extend gratitude, gratefulness, and thankfulness to yourself for intentionally making it a priority to take time for your self-care. That seals the deal. That completes the equation. That gives you the attitude to where it works. It makes what you just did work, because it's really you. It's really all you. So on that note, that is the session for the day, and this completes for me the last session in the course called Meditation for Skeptics. This completes that. So tomorrow, I think I'm gonna go into either this course that's about focus. I'm gonna see which way I go, but this is probably the third course I've completed, and I love it because I'm learning. I get to share, and it's exciting. If you all are around this Sunday, I'm gonna be at Unity Center of Light, which is in Bowie, and I'm actually going to be a special guest there, and I'm crazy excited because I've been here before. They're kind of like family at this point, but I'm crazy excited because, first of all, this is my first appearance of 2020 with regard to my meditation music, and secondly, this is going to be the very first time, the very first expression where I'll be doing my guided meditation in a live environment. So I'm stoked. If you're in the area, Sunday 10:30 is 2614 Ken Hill Drive in Bowie. All are welcome. I'm going to be playing music from my Key Reflections project, like what you hear in the background. By the way, in the background, this is Contemplation from Key Reflections. And again, you can check that out anywhere where you already have streaming, whether it's YouTube, whether it's Spotify, Apple Music. Just check it out. And I really need more feedback. So, I know that a lot of people have a lot of things going on. So it's not really about buying it or spending money. I just really want to see what you experience when you listen to it. So I know I'm not the only thing happening. So I know you got a million things. But if you get a chance, please check out my album, Key Reflections, either on my YouTube channel or anywhere on YouTube or anywhere else. And just come back here and drop a line. Let me know if you enjoyed it. So I'll be performing music from Key Reflections, and then I get a chance to do my guided meditation. I'm going to do Breathe Deeply, which is the one that I put out that's also everywhere as well. And yeah, I'm just excited because this year is going to be full of that. And I'm excited about the fact I'm going to be doing that from the piano, and it initiates my new concept, which is called neuromusical mindfulness. And it's my own personal brand of meditation music and the programming and reprogramming of our neural pathways. So yeah, I'm excited about that. And then also, if you can't join me for that, on next Friday, I'm going to have my first solo piano meditation concert at Andi Music, which is here in Baltimore, 409 Charles Street. It's a beautiful recital hall with a grand piano, and I'm going to do the same thing. It's going to be a Key Reflections concert. It's going to be the first of its kind that I've done, and I'm stoked. I'm completely stoked because I really believe that to a deeper degree than all of the music that you've heard me play and do like over the years, I think this is like getting ready to go to a deep level for myself, but also for everybody who I'm sharing this gift with. So please join me next Friday, 7:30 p.m. at Andi Music for the Key Reflections piano meditation concert. You can grab tickets either at the door. They're 15 at the door and 10 in advance. And the website is ondimusiclive.com, where you can grab the tickets in advance. So that's about it. If you would like to help to support me to keep making content like this, you can also see that info in the comment section. And if you're on YouTube later, the description of the video. I appreciate everything. Appreciate all the love and continuous support. Thanks for helping me to keep this journey going. I love you. Peace and be well. Take care.